a beautiful picture of her here. This is Karen Cappello. Karen Cappello. Already months ago we had the first contact to prepare for this webinar, and at that very moment she just obtained her MCC, so it was a lovely moment to talk with each other. We were in full chemistry and flow from the very first moment, and that's most of the time an indication for a very, very good webinar. She's had more than 10,000 hours of experience in team coaching. She has an own program on team coaching certification, and what touches me most is that she will talk about energy in teams, energy in groups. Whenever you as a trainer or a coach have the impression that, well, we have a kind of low energy level here, what precisely does that mean? On these kind of things and more, I give now the floor to Karen. Karen, good luck.
Thank you, Carl. I am really excited to be here. This is one of my favorite topics. And I just want to check in. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Yes, and I think I'm going to, oh, no, okay. So we are going to talk today about how to manage energy as a group coach. Actually, those are two of my favorite topics. And we're going to start out with a poll that Elizabeth is going to put up here about, are you currently offering groups? I just want to see how many people here are offering coaching groups.
Great, so we have some results coming in, and I'll leave it open for a couple more moments.
It's so interesting because group coaching is not taught in most of the coach training programs, and yet a lot of coaches are offering groups and wondering, you know, exactly how to do this. So it's a great topic.
Great. And I've closed the poll, and here are our results. So 57% say yes, they are currently offering group coaching, and 42% say no, they are not. So what a great divide.
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. So about half, and my intention is to give you at least one new nugget of information. So for those who are offering groups, I hope I could do that, and for those who aren't, there probably will be at least one new nugget of information. All right, so let's look at what we're going to learn today. What you'll learn is you're going to learn about the 4 types of energy that are present in every group. Your energy and the participants' energy also. You're going to learn how to apply the Art of Group Coaching model for ease of facilitation of all that energy. You're going to learn a set of guidelines that will manage the group's energy for you. This is very exciting. When I learned these guidelines, I was so thrilled. And you're going to learn what to do in your marketing long before the group begins to ensure that your energy remains strong and you're not drained. And so before we get into the 4 types of energy, I want to talk a little bit about the underlying philosophy of group coaching and what makes it different from other forms of facilitation. And group coaching uses the same ideas and principles that are true for individual coaching. So all group coaching clients, we know they're infinitely resourceful and they have their own answers. And as a group coach, it's our job to elicit the magnificence of each group member and to facilitate their individual learning and growth and the group learning and growth. And so we do this using all of our coaching skills, and especially those of deep listening, asking powerful questions, acknowledging the insights of the group members, supporting them into action toward their goals, and holding them as accountable. So your job as a group coach is to create a safe and sacred space for the growth of each of the group members. And your job is to make the space one of acceptance, as free from criticism and judgment as humanly possible, just like individual coaching. So on to slide 3, I have a quote that I just want to start out with here, and this quote is going to bring our energy together and get us into an energetic place. You know, we may have been in other places. I was actually sleeping before I got up this morning, went to Starbucks, and now I'm here on this call. You may have been in meetings, anywhere else. So let's just center ourselves as we listen to this quote from Martha Graham. And she says, "There is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all time, this expression is unique. If you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and be lost. The world will not have it. It's not your business to determine how good it is, nor how valuable it is, nor how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open." So let's keep our channel open. And now we're going to go into the types of energy in a group. And knowing that each person brings energy to the group, starting with you, and there are 4 types. It's kind of like a matrix of energy going on. There's energy between and among the group members. There's energy between you and each member, and there's energy within each person, within their own heart and soul. So as a group coach holding the space for all this energy, knowing your own energy and taking care of that energy is really vital. The energies that we're going to talk about today are physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. And just to kind of give a little bit of background on this, most coaches are givers. We're used to being there for everyone in our lives. We love to give. And yet, as a group coach, you are also there to receive. Think about that. You're there to receive the questions, the insights, the celebrations of your group members. And when you take care of yourself and your energy is strong, you're going to be filled up. You're going to be able to hold the space for all that energy, and you're going to be able to receive from the group. And the group members having their energy strong is also important. So whatever the topic is that has drawn them to the group, they're learning about their own self-development and inner growth. And that's the nature of any type of coaching. So as a group coach, when you model caring about your own energy and keeping your energy strong, they will do that also. People will learn by your example. So if you give the example of being full of energy, then you will be able to, then the group members will be able to notice that too. All right, so we're going to start with the physical energy in the next slide. And this is funny. I'm going to talk about the physical energy, but I put this little picture of me. This is years ago. And one of the things that's really important about my physical energy is that I'm warm. And you can see me here in Portland, and I've got all these blankets and things on. And so think about something maybe that you would need for your physical energy. If you had a goose that laid a golden egg, I love to think about this metaphor. Wouldn't you give that goose the best care imaginable and keep that energy strong? And as a coach, as an entrepreneur, as someone who is helping other people, we are that goose that lays the golden eggs. So in taking care of our physical energy and keeping that strong, we are able to lay those golden eggs at the feet of all of our clients and the people we come in contact with. One of my energy strategies in physical energy is sleep. When I get my proper sleep, I'm the highest version of myself. I'm cheerful, I'm loving. Now when I don't get enough sleep, I can be pretty grouchy and impatient. So lack of sleep to me is kind of, I say, is kind of like kryptonite to Superman. So that one's on the top of my list. Weekly massages are another strategy for me to keep my physical energy strong. I work at my desk 4 to 5 days of the week, so massages really help me. For some coaches, getting time out in nature is important to their self-care. For others, it's exercise or movement. Others, eating clean and healthy. There are so many physical strategies to keep your energy strong. So on the screen here, there is a template, and it's a PDF. It's the third one down on the handouts. It's called KCC AOGC ICF template. If you want to download that template, you can actually use it, print it out. You can use it to write some notes here, or you can actually just follow along and take notes based upon what I'm talking about here. So if you have that template, or if you want to just take a note, and make a note of any physical self-care actions that come to you that will strengthen your energy. What are the important things to you? There may be one or two, there may be more, but just make a note of what those things are that help your physical energy be strong. And we're going to go through the next 3 types of energy, and then I actually have a bonus type as a fifth. But for now, if you have anything coming to mind, make that note. Next, we're going to move on to intellectual energy. And one thing I like, there's a little Abraham Hicks CD, one of my favorite self-development authors, and I listen to these MP3s now, but years ago I started on, what were those, cassette tapes, if anyone remembers that, in the 90s, and then they went to CDs, and now they're on MP3s. That really helps my intellectual energy stay strong. So this is about taking care of your mind to strengthen your energy. We know that our thoughts create our reality, so having a strong mind will help strengthen your energy as a group coach. Listening to these audios, reading self-development books, those are keys to making my mind strong. I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't do some reading of this sort. I also love just spending time thinking and visualizing about what I want to create in my life. It nourishes my mind and strengthens me. Whether it's this week or next year, thinking about positive future events really nourishes my mind. Some coaches I know spend time clearing out old thinking patterns, limiting beliefs, EFT, emotional freedom technique, the healing codes are 2 things that come to mind that help with this, but we have many tools as coaches. So at this point, think about your intellectual energy and what strengthens that, and make a note of anything that you're thinking about, any strategies that will really help you strengthen your intellectual energy. Okay, and now we're going on to emotional energy, and that picture there is me and my sweetie. He's part of my emotional energy. He helps me, my heart be full. And this is a huge energy management tool for me. I was the oldest of 3 kids at 2 years old. It's hard to believe, right? And so from a very early age, I was really one of those people that took care of myself. And I was always used to kind of being this lone ranger. And since then, I've learned to receive, and it supports me well to be able to give to others when I'm filled up myself from the receiving. So one thing that strengthens my emotional energy is being with people who love me, that I love, my family, my friends. Another thing is to see really inspiring movies where I'm in tears at the end. It kind of cleanses my soul. I just saw this movie on the plane about Anne Hathaway. She was the intern. He was an older gentleman, was her intern. And I just cried through that movie about the beautiful, tender moments that they had between them. So a heartwarming movie strengthens my energy. I also have a stack of cards that people have written to me, or emails with acknowledgments on them that I cherish. And when I feel my energy dipping, I read these. I send out cards to others if my energy is dipping, and that really brings me back. Sending or receiving, I take care of myself by connecting with others. So I also know of other coaches who have mastermind groups where they're emotionally fed, spending quality time with spouses, children, pets. Oh my gosh, pets really can strengthen emotional energy. Going to a museum or a concert can also nurture your emotions. So think about this now. What is it that helps you keep strong emotionally? And if you'd like, just write down anything that's coming to your mind any strategies that help you. So now we're going to go on to spiritual energy. And the photo here on the screen, this is a picture of the Hubbard Glacier, and it was taken last week on my trip to Alaska, and I was just dumbfounded that I didn't know glaciers were blue. This is a picture from an iPhone, if you can believe it. And it just, as I was looking at the glacier, I could just feel my soul expand. There was something very awesome about this, and it just connected me with, you know, my higher power, God, the world. It just had that spiritual energy. And taking care of your spirit and keeping your spiritual energy strong can bring you huge rewards as a coach. I do daily spiritual practices. Having that connection to me, having that connection to my spirit, helps move coaching from a more transactional kind of an event to a transformational event. When I bring spirit in, really helps with the transformation. And I don't necessarily mean religious, although it could be. I'm really talking about strengthening the energy in that part of yourself that is connected to something bigger than you. So it could be God, your higher power, even the collective unconscious. And something I like to do to increase my spiritual energy is connect with my inner guidance and ask questions. So on the days when I've had my proper rest and I'm feeling really powerful, I can meditate or just sit quietly and ask a question and see what comes to mind. If I'm a bit tired or worn out a little bit, I also have some oracle cards. I have these decks of oracle cards in my office. I can get quiet and maybe pick a card, and that can help me to see what comes to mind as I'm looking at the card. It helps me focus. So those are a couple things I do to get in touch with my own spiritual energy. And now, actually, they've got a lot of these decks on apps on the iPhone. So I don't have to be carting my cards around. I can do it anywhere. I personally make sure I do something to connect spiritually every day. It could be meditation. It could be Morning Pages by Julia Cameron. You may have heard of her. It could be healing codes. This morning I was listening to an Abraham Hicks meditation. So I know other coaches who walk the labyrinth. They go to church. They listen to or do spiritual chanting. There are so many different spiritual practices out there. So think about what spiritual practices you do and what spiritual practices really nurture and nourish your spiritual energy. Even if you only spend 5 minutes a day on them, it will make a difference. So any spiritual strategies that you have for increasing your energy, you might want to write those down now. And you know, I have a quick story about this. This was a coach that I was coaching, and she said if I could only meditate 5 minutes a day, it would make a huge difference to me. And so I said, okay, just text me when you've done your meditation. And she did. And it turned out within a few months, she received a large contract from a Fortune 500 company, and she had not done any executive coaching prior to that time. And we really do know that her meditation opened her up to something very different than she had already done. So those are the 4 types of energy that each of us and each of our participants bring to the group. So if you start with you take care of all of this energy, it will help you as a coach to manage all of the rest of the energy that's going on. And at this point, before we go on to the 5th type of energy, kind of a secret superpower formula, Carl, I'd love to have some participation here. I'd love it if anyone wants to type into the chat what your favorite energy management strategy is. It could be physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual. If you know what it is, just give us a phrase or an idea of what that is, and then Carl, you can read those out for us.
I'm totally ready.
Okay, great.
So, my dear friends, type some things. Great, great, great. Wow, wow, wow. Can't follow. So I will walk the deep breathing, sauna, workout, walking or sitting at the seaside, have faith in life, meditation, mindfulness, gratitude practice, vipassana, meditation, silence, swimming, energy management strategy, listening, breathing fully, sleep, balance, yoga, meditation, gardening, morning pages and spending time in the garden, lifting thoughts, wonder, nature, classic music, prayer, great book, The Power of Full Engagement, walking in the woods, being grateful of what is, physical, emotional, spiritual, opera, physical, walking, spiritual, meditation, Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod's, traveling, crafting to calm the mind, reading, gratitude journal. Please repeat questions. Meditation, looking at photos, granddaughter, running, gratitude, motorcycle, dancing, music, surprising others, scented candles, solitude. Well, that's friends and pets. That's, I think, is a diagonal summary. Sorry for all the ones I forgot, but it's not easy to walk through all of them.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, everyone. You know, I know we can probably get a list of those, and I love all of those techniques, and I love how aware that you all are of what it is that keeps your energy strong. That is fantastic.
Karen, there are two more grades that I want to add. Self-love and conversation with my daughter. Those two more beautiful ones.
Oh. Isn't that beautiful, Carl? You know, I have a client who does that. He has a daughter like you. And when I tell him, when you get crazy, just go sit with your daughter. Ah, excellent. Anything else you want to share there, Carl?
Well, a conversation with the son is also part of it.
Yes, of course.
Yep, that's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So there is a fifth type of energy, and it's something that I identified way back in 2002 when I started coaching, and I call it essence energy. And the concept of essence energy came to me when I first began to do speaking engagements. And I wanted to have a deliberate way to get into a state of being that was very powerful for me while I was up in front of the room. And I wanted to have a way of quantifying my own energy. So the essence energy is the energy that you exude when you're feeling empowered and strong. It's your most natural and brilliant state of being, and it comes from deep within. And I always say it's kind of when you feel like you've gotten up on the right side of the bed versus the wrong side of the bed. When you have this energy where somebody says, you should go out and buy a lottery ticket, you know, it's your lucky day. Or the energy of if you're driving, all the lights are green as you travel to your destination. It's just this wonderful energy, and it's very natural to each one of us. And I have noticed that each person has their very own essence energy, and it's different. It's a little bit different for everyone. And I use a way of describing my essence energy, and I call it mine tender exuberance. So there's a feeling of joy and bubbliness that is the exuberant part, and then there's also this tenderness and love that I feel along with it. And I hope you can feel that energy from me now. This is my essence energy. Another example is I know a coach whose essence energy is serene heart. And when I'm with her, I feel genuinely loved in a very secure way. She just exudes this energy of peaceful, loving kindness. And I also had a friend years ago who taught power yoga. And he was able to wrap himself up in a tiny ball and stand on his head in the middle of the room. I certainly couldn't have. He had such control of his physical self, and I would call his essence energy powerful control. So as you think about this concept of essence energy, this other type of energy, how would you label yours? Is your energy peaceful and calm? Is it exuberant and joyful? Is it more like a glow or a sparkle? And it doesn't have to be 2 words. It could be many words, or it could be just be, I know the feeling. And once you know your essence energy, here's how it works with groups. When there's a decision to be made about your group experience, you can use it as a gauge. So if you think about making a certain decision and notice if the feeling you get is closer to your essence energy and increases that energy in you or decreases it. For example, when thinking about the number of members that you're going to have in your group, do you want to start with a small, intimate mastermind group or a free-flowing, flexible membership program? Pay attention to your reactions as you're thinking about these. Does it bring you closer to your essence energy or farther away? If you begin to feel your essence energy get stronger, you know you're on the right track. If you feel your energy diminishing, then maybe you're not on the right track. If you're talking to a person and you feel your energy diminishing, this person probably isn't a good fit for your group, or maybe your communication that you're doing is not being expressed in alignment with who you truly are. So when you have that essence energy, you can use it as a touchstone, and it can be really helpful for you in starting your group. Whenever you start a new program, there are those around you that might have their opinions and ideas about how and what you should do. And sometimes we can get confused in taking all of this external feedback. The essence energy will help you do actions that are in alignment with who you are, and these are going to work in a powerful way for you. So if you get ideas from others, or you read something about marketing your group, or you have certain things that come to you, check in on your essence energy. If they make your essence energy stronger, those ideas are probably going to work well for you. If they don't, they're going to likely fizzle. So when you know your essence energy, you can immediately sort through any confusion and know exactly which ideas will work for you, and you can override any limiting beliefs that the answers are going to come from outside of you. You know that you can be empowered at any time just by focusing on what will bring you back into this feeling of essence energy. And we're going to also use this when I talk a little bit later about marketing your group. This will help you a lot, this essence energy idea. So I also know that one of the things that helps keep a group coach's energy strong is background support. Having the proper support in your background will allow your energy to be strong and focused. So these are just a few of the supports that I have. In fact, these pictures are kind of funny. The very top picture is my own coach, Caitlin. And so my coach helps me think about the big picture aspects of my group and how does this group fit into my business model and bringing my impact into the world. And my coach helps me get clear and clear out my gremlins. So that is one form of background support that I've had a coach ever since I've started coaching. I've never been without one. Another form of background support is assistance, either virtual or personal, and right underneath Caitlin is Andrea, who is my assistant. She helps me with my web presence, and then underneath that picture is me with Kathy, with the red hair, who's another one of my assistants who answers emails for me. And they take care of the logistics. So if I'm doing a group, they take care of the customer care questions. They take care of getting people into Facebook groups, creating download pages, all kinds of things like that. And it frees up my time to fully concentrate on giving the best delivery possible. So I get coaches telling me that I'm very zen in my presentation, and that's because I have the help of assistants in the background. I realized that with all of my assistants, they put in about 40 hours per month combined. So that's an entire week that my business is going that I don't have to do anything. and I can take every Friday off of appointments if I want. So having all of that background support allows my energy to be strong and me to do my genius work, because if I have to take care of the details, that drops my energy very, very quickly. I can do it, but it doesn't energize me. Another thing is the support of family and friends in the background. You can see their very bottom picture next to on this slide. This is me with my birthday. I just had my 60th birthday, and I was on a cruise, Alaska cruise, and above me is my mom, next to her is my sister, and then we have two friends of ours, and we had a little birthday dinner. And it nurtures my energy to have my family and friends that are with me. There are times when I need breaks, and my friends are there to go out with me. They help me take care of some of my day-to-day stuff, so I have time to work on my business. And my clients have even told me that their husbands love it when they have me to coach them, so that they're not always talking to their spouses about their business. So spouses and friends and family can provide support in other ways. They help us get out and play. And last but not least, for background support to help strengthen your energy is to have systems in place. There you see Aweber, which is my autoresponder, and also I have QuickBooks for the self-employed, because I'm really not good at accounting. And this thing, it just populates everything in. As soon as something comes into PayPal, boom, it goes right into QuickBooks. I don't even have to see it. So that is a huge help to me. The autoresponder, so that all my emails go out on time. We can load in all the reminders at the beginning of class, and then they just keep going. So those systems really help me not to have to think about that. Knowing what part each of my assistants is playing in helping with the group frees me up. So these are some of the things that I think really help in terms of the background support to keep the energy of the group coach strong. So Carl, I'd like to do one more question here with the group, and I'd like to ask everyone, what type of support do you need to keep your energy strong? If you would type it in the chat, let's see some ideas, because I'm sure you have some ideas that I haven't thought of that I could use myself. So what type of support do you need to keep your energy strong? Just type it in there.
Financial support, my colleagues, scheduling software, friends and family, being inspired by others, and my buddy, assistance, coach, positivity, wife encouragement, family, friends, mastermind group, friends to offer balance, great coach, random hugs, friends, a connection to other coaches, details, support, assistance and structure, colleagues, email contact list, assistant for admin things, systems and coach, mentor, the happiness of my son, professional groups, affiliations, talk with friends about dreams, success, frustrations, my coach, my husband, church community, marketing support, system for billing, taking a nice view, nice moment, sense of security, anthem, God, universe, taking buddy, my awesome coach, mentor coach, make sure I have dedicated time for me to brainstorm, honest reflection, accounting and scheduling systems, best IT system, running daily office tasks, supervision, margaritas, marketing and sales manager, mentor coach, intervision systems with other coaches, husband, kindness and laughter, spiritual guru, mentor, time off, regular planning, listening to silence, meditation. I need to learn to build that support, not be the support myself. I observe two patterns. First pattern focused on technical support under various forms, and the second pattern under mental, emotional support, referring to all kinds of coaches. These are the two red lines that I see, Karen.
Fantastic. I love it. Everyone is so aware of all the support that is needed, and we have some great ideas there. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Carl, for reading those out. And so I do have one more slide here that I want to talk about with support for this webinar. We have magnificent background support. So this is Elizabeth and Carl, and there's that little smiley face clapping for you. So thank you so much for being the support for this one. All right, so we're going to go on to our next, the Art of Group Coaching model, which is actually about a structure that will support you to keep your energy high and keep the energy of the group flowing. So if you take certain steps, if you have certain steps to follow in each group meeting, this will create a smooth and consistent energy. And these are 6 steps. And these 6 steps have been designed years ago by myself and a colleague of mine when we started teaching group coaching. And it was really interesting. The first group coaching class that we did, both of our coaches took the course, so that we were on to something. And I'm just going to go over these steps. So in each group meeting, if you have some kind of connection, either a quote, maybe like the one we read today, or breathing together, or coming together as a group and shifting the energy into the group, you have a connection. Maybe that would take maybe 2 to 3 minutes. You have a set of group agreements, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about these in the next slide, that you agree to as a group of how you're going to be with each other. You have a little bit of content. So the content in group coaching is very minimal, maybe some thought-provoking questions or a quote that people can either agree or disagree with, some little bit of something to get the conversation started. And then you have coaching, and coaching would take up the most time in your group. Somebody might offer, to be coached. They call these hot seat coaching sometimes, or or there may be coaching going on in a coaching conversation. People talk about how they're stuck, and there's brainstorming going on. And then the next part of the group, once you get to about 45 to 50 minutes of this, you want to do ideas for action. And this is kind of like requests or ways, whatever it is that people want to do in the week or 2 between now and the next session. So come up with some ideas for action and some accountability, and then end on inspiration. You always want to end your group meeting on a high note, so you could ask for takeaways. You could ask what people have learned. You could use a quote, and sometimes I use the same quote for the connection and the inspiration just to tie it all together. So when I use this model in each of my groups, when I follow these 6 steps in each meeting, it really creates a consistent energy, and people understand where we're going, what we're doing, and that there is a structure, and it really helps for that. So the next thing I want to talk about is managing group energy with the guidelines, and that second step was group agreements, and those we could use certain communication guidelines for agreements. Now I use a group of agreements called the Standards of Presence in the first group meeting. And the reason I put here for a copy, you can send an email to standards@aweber.com, because there's like a 2 or 3 page document that goes into each of these standards in more detail. They come from the Foundation for Inspired Learning, but everyone always asks me, how can I get a copy? So this is how you can get a copy. Some of these guidelines ahead of the game will really make a difference. So in the first meeting as a group, when we get together and we talk about, here is what we're going to agree to. These are the guidelines that we're going to go by. So, for instance, maintain confidentiality. A lot of people do that. Adopt a stand for innocence. This is about holding people innocence. If somebody says something that you disagree with or that seems like a criticism, if you give them the benefit of the doubt. So saying this before the group starts, you'll know that during the group, if something happens, people are ready for this. Practice a positive focus. Look at the positive. Connect at a deep level. These are the guidelines. Claim my experience as my own. This is a really important one. In claiming my experience as my own, I speak in I statements. So for instance, if we're in a group and somebody says, you know, I think you should blah, 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 that may have a negative feeling put into the group because somebody's giving advice and saying you should. But what if you said, could you just speak in an I statement? And somebody said, well, when I have this thing happen in my life, I do this. It makes it very safe. Listen deeply and with honor. Give only authentic and positive acknowledgement and support. That keeps the group a criticism-free zone. Practice self-care and self-responsibility and allow others to do the same. And be fully present. There's so much I could say about this. I could have, I could talk about this for hours about how to use these group guidelines ahead of time to support the group so that things don't happen. Like they always say, like somebody is sharing too much. Well, listen deeply and with honor means, listen to people. And if somebody says, I'm agreeing to this, it's going to keep their sharing down. Or maybe there are people who don't share at all. And maybe they say, okay, I want to claim my experience as my own. I want to share. It helps take care of some of these things that happen down the road in groups if you put these guidelines in the beginning. So those are just really, really important. So I want to go on to the energy of your marketing. We talked about how to, in the beginning, about how to align your marketing here. And first of all, you want to have an ideal client in mind as you do all of your marketing. So this will support you in calling in that perfect energetic alignment. In fact, these clients along the side are actual clients of mine. These are some of my ideal clients. You may know some of them. When you have your ideal clients, it creates a high energy in the group and also the energy of ease and confidence for you. And when your ideal clients are in the group, they're going to get results both in their learning and in attaining their goals. So think about who are your ideal clients that you've worked with. So to manage your marketing energy, another thing you can do is create an avatar for your ideal client before you do any marketing for your group. And an avatar is simply a composite of the qualities of your ideal client. So think about what type of personality, what stage of personal development they're at, what are their beliefs and their background. And since you have the intention to create this group, there are also other people's intentions to participate. They are seeking you. You are seeking them. So it all comes together. If you know the essence energy and the qualities of your ideal client, create a composite person. So you could call this person, Jane Doe, and her essence energy is tender exuberance, and she is very positive. She wants to know about life. She's really into her self-development. This would be somewhat of, here's my avatar. When you have that, then every single thing you do in your marketing, you focus on that person. You write your page, your emails, your sales page, all of that to this person. And it really makes everything aligned, because when you call in the right person, your group runs smoothly. Also having a theme. If you have a theme that is really compelling to your ideal client, that everyone is working on together, it will really keep the energy smooth and focused. So some people have challenges they're facing. I always use the example of, parents of teens who want to communicate better. That's a challenge. And actually that's a desire too, right? They're facing that challenge of communicating with their teen, and the desire they have is to communicate better and smoother. If you have a whole group of people like that, that's a very smooth energy because they're all working on the same challenge and the same desire. So the other thing I wanted to just mention here is group members are attracted to a group experience on a topic they already have some knowledge of. The people go to the same things. I know I do. Similar themes. So they're looking for expansion. And the beauty of the group is that the group members can learn from each other, and you as a coach will learn from the group. And most likely there will be group members who know more than you do about certain aspects of the theme or the topic. So you can really celebrate that and receive that. And that will make a very smooth energy for the whole entire group. So that concludes my remarks, and I think we have a few minutes here for some questions, if anyone has any.
Yes, please, friends, don't be shy. And there are already two questions. What is the difference between running a mastermind group and group coaching?
Okay, so that's a great question, and I would think that from what I know of a mastermind group, there's a specific structure there that comes from the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and there's a structure for a mastermind group. And in the mastermind group, the way it's run is it does have a topic or a theme, and then each meeting, one of the people in the group gets up and presents what they need help with, and then everyone brainstorms with them. So group coaching is a little bit, in my mind, the distinction is group coaching is a little bit more of a in-the-moment kind of coaching. What's happening this week? Let's have an assignment. Let's go out. Let's try it out. Let's come back. Where are you stuck? Where do you need help? Week by week by week. The mastermind is a little bit different, where you have one person that comes in and brings something to the group. And we did a mastermind group years ago where we had new coaches, and we had 6 months, and we had 6 of us, and every month somebody would come in and they'd say, okay, here's a program I'm thinking of doing. Tell me, give me your advice on what would be happening. So it seems like that mastermind group is more of a advising group, and yet we may be splitting hairs too, because I think you can use these group coaching techniques in a mastermind group for sure.
Okay, another very interesting one. How do you introduce standards of presence to the group? Do you do a slide on the same and explain it to each one individually, or how do you bring these to the group?
That's a great question. In the very first group meeting, I hand out the standards of presence. And by the way, you can use the standards of presence as they're written, or you can change them around if there's something else you want to add or subtract. So I hand these out in the first group, and we read each one together as a group. There are 10 of them. We read through, and then I ask after each one, if anyone would like to make any changes to this standard, or if they can accept it as is. And so if they say they can accept it as is, I ask them to say yes, or if we're in person, raise their hand, just to make sure that they know that they're agreeing. If they want to make a change, we talk about that change, and if it will not hinder the spirit of the standard, then we go ahead and make that change, and then throughout the whole entire group, that becomes the new standard for the duration of that group. And then we go through each one of those 10. So it takes a while in the first group. I leave time for it. I mean, it can take like a half an hour, depending on the conversations that you have around this. But putting that foundation in that first session, then the next session you can just lightly say, okay, we just remember we're under the agreement, we're using these guidelines of the standards of presence today, and then just keep on moving. But if you take the time to put that foundation in the first meeting, then it takes care of a lot of the energy management for the meetings that go past that.
Okay, thank you. Another one, what exactly happens in group coaching, the way you do them? And how does that, is that different to individual coaching? Do you combine those two, group coaching and individual coaching, with the same persons that are also part of the group? What is your vision on that, Karen? How do they differentiate and how can you combine?
Yes, so the individual coaching is different because it really is that one-on-one learning environment. I, as a coach, am there with my one client. In a group, I, as the coach, am there with, let's just say, 6 clients at the same time. And combining them is a great idea. For instance, if you offer a group of, let's just go with the parents of teenagers wanting better communication. Let's just say you offer 2 group meetings per month and 1 individual. So they can be in the group for a couple meetings, they can work together, they can share ideas, and then they each get one one-on-one session per month, that hybrid of the group and the individual. I think that is a winning combination. So you can combine them or you can do them separately, either one.
Okay, okay. What's the title of the book?
The title of the book.
You've said something about a book. You've written a book?
Oh, I've written a book, but did I mention, well, the title of my book is The Clients You Are Seeking Are Also Seeking You. It's on Kindle, but I'm not sure if I mentioned, if the person who asked that question can just send me an email, because it might not be the right book I'm telling you about.
Okay, so I invite here Michaela to send an email to Karen for more details on that. There are also some more practical questions on pricing and on variation of pricing and fees between group and individual coaching, but I suppose for that people should better contact you individually rather than discuss these things here. More related to the content of team coaching, what should be the duration of a group coaching session in general? What are your experiences with the most effective duration of a group session, also related to their energy, etc.?
Yes, so I would say if you had 6 or less people, 1 hour is a good duration. If you had something around between 7 to 10, probably an hour and a half. And if you're doing them in person, you might want to do less sessions and longer sessions. People have to travel there, but I would not, and so I would not do any more than an hour and a half and 10 people for one coach. If you want to have more people in the group, get a co-facilitator, 2 group coaches, and then you can add people in. But I think 1 hour or 90 minutes is past that, people's attention spans really start to wane and the energy goes down.
Okay. I hear some voices here saying they need to leave the call, as within a few minutes they have another meeting. So we will still continue for 2 more minutes, but the ones that have to leave now, the second